All right, hope you're having a great day, YouTube family. All right, so we got the X5 out here, 3.0. We're going to do the valve cover gasket. So right now we got the covers off, and we're going to go ahead and remove the coil packs. We're going to get the stuff out of the way here. We're going to move some of these plugs and everything, and then we're going to go ahead and remove the screws so we can remove the valve cover and then get the old gasket off, clean everything really clean, put the new one on there, and get it back together. All right, we'll come back in a little while. It's still a little rainy here. We're under the cover of the garage door right now, and yep, that's where we're at. All right, God bless y'all. All right, so we got all the coil packs popped out. These can be tricky sometimes to get them out. What I usually do, let's see if I can do this here. Hold the phone, sorry, I'm not that high tech. What I usually do is carefully is I'll take a screwdriver and gently I'll pull on the rubber, apply even pressure, gently like that. And I've never had a problem doing it that way. There's special tools you can buy to pull these out, but yeah, sometimes you can use your hand, and if you're lucky you can pop them right out, especially if they're new. When you pull these out, unless you're troubleshooting, there's no specific reason to put them back in the exact same spot, so they can just come right out. Now, if you're troubleshooting, if you got a misfire, then yeah, first of all, you look at your P code, whatever code you have, see if you can determine which cylinder is misfiring. And usually, what's a good way to do it is to the one that you suspect is misfiring is move the one coil pack over, switch it with another one, and then see if the code switches to that that cylinder. Or if you have a spare coil pack, to swap it out and see if that works. A lot of times misfire is either a coil pack, or it's a spark plug, or it could be buildup of carbon, or an injector. Clogged or something, injector type of situation. Generally, there's probably a million reasons why things can happen, but yeah, but the standard ones usually is a coil pack or a plug. My Mini Coopers, the NGKs and stuff, sometimes they're sensitive. You can have one that's relatively new and it goes bad on you. It just, something happens. I'm telling you, I've had it happen. Anyway, I'm going to get back here. We're going to get this thing apart. I got to get this done so I can take the kids somewhere. I can't leave this car into the garage with the garage open right now. I got to get it done. All right, we'll talk to you a little bit. God bless you all. All right, so one thing I usually want to remind people, you're going to want to remove any wiring harnesses out of the way of your valve cover gasket. A lot of times there will be especially for the harness for the coils, there will be a ground wire that you need to undo. And usually these things clip in place to hold this assembly where it's at. And also, like in this case, these got some oxygen sensor clips. So just gotta move them out of the way. These right here. And then just move this out of the way. So we're gonna go ahead and get that undone. And then we're gonna go and start removing the screws out of the way. Luckily this one, the injectors aren't in the way. So this is the only thing that's a pain on this one, is that there's like one 10 millimeter that's in the back here. Most likely. I'm thinking if there isn't, I'm not sure if this one has one. We'll see here. We'll check it out. I don't remember if there was or not. There's one in the front right here. There's one in the front right there. I'm not sure, I can't see back there. Not seeing one. That's interesting. Well, that's good. That is convenient, though. You'd think they would have one back there, but they don't. That's all right. All right, but there is one right over here somewhere, right there in the back corner here. There'll be a couple here. And, all right. Well, I'll come back in a little bit. All right, so we got them all loose. So we're just starting to remove them all. So usually what I do is I'll take something like in this case these are all 10 millimeter, get something that I can easily just go around and pull them out. Try not to lose them. Make sure you get them all out of there. All right, let me go around and pull these out. These cases have a seal. You have a rubber seal there. Now the kit, they'll come with the seal. Key is don't drop stuff, especially in the engine bay compartment. I'll get that in a second. All right, we'll bring it back in a little bit. All right, we're back here. So once you get all your screws out, the one thing I always recommend is to just stop for just a moment, relax for a second there, and just inspect and make sure you removed all the screws before you start prying away at the cover. So let's take a quick look here. Got that one, got that one, that one, that one. Let's see here. That one is clear. That one, got that one. Let's make sure here. So we got one in the back corner here. Hard to see it. Let's see here. Yep, that one's clear. Got that one. That's spark plug hole. That one's good. That one's good. That one's good. Here in the back here. I got that one, that one. Ah, see? Forgot one. That's why. That's why I always tell. Let's just check the other one. So we're good there. All right, so we're going to remove that one. Let's go here. Let's get down here. That's why. That's exactly why. So, normally I get them both in one shot, but I got the phone in my hand. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start taking this thing off, gently prying it away. We'll get it in. We're going to remove the old gasket, clean it up, and we're going to apply the new gasket, and we'll get this thing back together. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. All right, so one thing I was going to tell you is that if you have any air hoses going to the, or PVC hoses from your valve cover, you're going to, like Germans usually there's one something like this, and you're going to press at the bottom and the top. I can't do it with one hand. I'll bring it back. All right, so basically you press these top and bottom tabs right here, this one here and one at the bottom. When you push it, it forces the two sides away and lets it retract, and then you're pulled away there. So I'm not a big fan of taking extra stuff apart if I don't have to, but in this particular case, this little cover is for a little what do you want to call them? They're little fittings or whatever that just pull back a little plastic piece, and then you can release the cover. In this case, it took me about 1 minute. It's worth it. Gives me better access to the front. So in that case, yeah, you want to do something like that. But a lot of times I will not take extra stuff apart, and that's a lot of times why I don't use I'll review manuals if I've got them, or YouTube videos, but usually I'll make a decision as I go if there's something I really need to do. Especially sometimes it could be a matter of removing a whole front clip from a car to get out an alternator or something like that, and I'll look and see if there's a way to do it without having to do that, if I can do it, or way out if I decide I want to just change out the regulator on an alternator, where I can do it within the car with it just removing it partially, be able to flip it and change out a regulator and put it back, than having to remove a whole clip to get to to remove the that particular part. So anyway, you got to weigh it out. You know, it is what it is. All right, bring you back a little bit. All right, so once I got the valve cover off, like in this particular case, when I get to a certain specific point, like I got the cover off or whatever, a major point, what I recommend is to stop and take a break. Stop, take a break, have some coffee, go have some pie, whatever you want to do. Do something. Chill out for a little while, then come back and then break it up into, like, depending how big the job is, quarters or halves or eighths. Like you're doing a transmission, that might be a 2-week job, a month, depending if you have a spare car. You know, you might want to break that up, type of thing. So anyway, in this particular case, let's see, what do we got there? That's not a big deal. It's just a it's got to see what that one is here. So we're looking through here. What we got here? All right. All right, so that one piece goes right there. I'm going to gently remove it and get everything cleaned up, and then we're going to reassemble. All right, we'll bring you back in a little bit. All right, so one thing I always do, I'm going to go in and get some coffee and something to eat, and then I'm going to come back and put this thing together, clean up and put it together. Is all, like I said, I'm doing this valve cover. I'm going to lay out my new gasket side by side with the valve cover and any additional gaskets like these right here for the spark plugs, and then the rubber O-rings or whatever you want to call them, inserts for all the screws. Make sure everything's looks like it's good. It's a good fit. And then I'm going to take my break, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to start getting everything cleaned up and put them on there and get this thing put together. So it's really important. Make sure all your sealing surfaces are clean. Get them nice and clean, especially around curves and stuff like that, in places that are hard to see and get around. If you're doing now, follow the instruction of your valve cover gasket manufacturer or the OEM whatever book or whatever you want. But with BMWs, Mini Coopers, when it talks about the curved or going around here, they usually put a little bit of adhesive right there, a little bit of RTV, especially the transition from the curve to the flat. That's specifically, I just put a little bit going around, especially because it's a curved area. Sometimes you might need to put a little bit inside to tack things in and hold them in place, so the gasket's like a little thinner or something, and it's going to pop out on you while you're trying to get the head gasket in place. Anyway, I'm going to get this thing on there, and we're going to start buttoning everything up here. The old gasket is just like rock. It's just solid rock. I mean, yeah. So it was time to replace it. We've got about, what do we got? About 135,000 miles on this, 137, something like that. Everything this does when you're in here, you always kind of inspects. Make sure you just see anything that's odd. Make sure you didn't miss anything. Make sure there's no debris. Everything looks good, and we're going to maybe give it one more wipe down, a few spots. You're never going to get it perfect, but you just want to make sure there's no oil, too much oil or anything, any debris, any extra adhesives, that type of stuff. You want as clean as you can within reasonable to get a good seal. All right, I'll bring you back in a little while. All right, well, we got the head valve cover. We got it all buttoned up. So now we're just going to go ahead and put all back our wires, our coil packs, all the little miscellaneous stuff, and we'll be done with this thing. These particular ones, they don't actually need really torque them, because they just gently bottom out. That's how they're kind of designed, so you don't over tighten them. but I always try to do a cross pattern as I'm starting to tension them up, just so everything goes on kind of even. Anyway, let's get it all back together and we'll see you in a little while. All right, so just make sure that the your wires from your O2 sensors, that you got them routed through the little grooves above the exhaust manifold and all that stuff. Right under here, you run across, make sure that they're up high, out of the way where they won't be in any problems. And then make sure the plugs snap in place right here. Make sure your ground wire for your fuel injection harness is bolted down, and then now you can start putting in the coil packs. All right, well, we got everything buttoned up. It's all back together. And one thing I recommend when you do some kind of little project like that, changing out valve cover gasket, you know, airflow meter, whatever it might be, radiator, you know, whatever. It's a really good idea to take an opportunity to just check your fluids at the same time while you're there. Just, you know, it's always good. So let's see, we're good on coolant. Also, just do a quick inspection, make sure you don't have any significant leaks, or at least no leaks you're not aware of. There's some leaks that are, it's too hard to do them. They're like significant work to get to them, and they're not significant enough that we usually just leave them alone. Yeah, we're good to go. And we'll check the oil. Got lots of fluid in there, everything's good. I power washed this not too long ago, clean everything. We just replaced the radiator and all the hoses, power steering, water pumps, all kinds of parts. So it's in pretty good shape here. So we're going to go ahead and check the oil, and then we're going to start it up. We're going to pull it out, and we should be good to go. Take it for a little test drive. That should do it. All right, so we're about half a quart low. It's been a while since I've had to change the oil on this, and we just haven't put that many miles on the car. We use a good synthetic oil, but this time around, about half a quart, which is like, say, not a lot. I had a little leak, but I'm going to go ahead and add some this oil stabilizer. I really like this Lucas oil stabilizer, so we'll add a little bit of that. It's this one's pure synthetic, and we should be okay here. And we'll take it for a test drive. All right, well, we're good to go. We'll let it idle for a little while. I'm going to go get some coffee. I'm going to clean up, and we'll take the kids over to play some games at David Buster's or something here for a little bit on Veterans Day. And yeah, that's where we're at, but we're good to go here. All right, God bless you all. You have a wonderful day.